I wanted to do a video about this for a while. I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can. There's so much, so I tend to really get very elaborate in my detail because it's endless what I could tell you, endless. What I've been dealing with by myself, thanks to my lovely Cancellieri family. What I've been dealing with alone, very alone, has been so insurmountable. But I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can. So anyway, yes, I'm 53 and a half years old, and I'm still getting a period. Now, not only am I getting a period regularly every month, but I'm also getting periods. I'm menstruating twice a month, and the periods are very heavy. And one thing I noticed, one characteristic about this kind of menstruating, which is actually heavier. It started when I was 50 with all the other spectrum of very bizarre symptoms and pains and pain presentation. But one thing I noticed is the way the period, the flow is, there can be a lot of clumpiness, and it almost, sometimes it looks like like I'm having a miscarriage. So if you say, oh, why didn't you see a doctor? Well, you don't understand the context here. You don't understand how this started with all the weight gain and the skin changes. Before that, the bullying and the hostility. And then the whole, like I said, the whole spectrum of very bizarre symptomatic presentation. So you have to understand as well that the doctors are not listening to anything I'm saying. They're just they want to zero in on somehow that I'm a paranoid schizophrenic, I'm delusional, it's psychosomatic, it's your subconscious at play. So I don't know if this is some kind of conspiracy or something, but I haven't been able to tell any professional, doctors, lawyers, you name it, people from, representatives, MPPs, MPs. So anyway, I don't want to digress here. Yeah, I've been menstruating heavily, monthly, since I was about 50. It actually got heavier, not lighter. And also, I menstruate sometimes twice a month. I remember it was April. It was very recently. I think it was March or April. I was menstruating. I menstruated twice, and then there was another month I menstruated twice, and also if you look at the actual menstruation. Hold on, I'm making dinner here. Okay, isn't that lovely having to do these videos while you're making dinner? Well, you've got 3 things on the stove top and in the oven. And you're being tortured at the same time. But the thing about these, the menstruation, is I can actually feel the gushing. It starts to gush just before I smoke. And if you look at my videos, and I would suggest you do, because this can affect your daughter, your son, your granddaughter, your grandson. It can affect anybody. This is basically taking over a person's body. So just before I go out and smoke, I can feel gushing. I'm not going to go into more detail than that, but you know what I mean. When you're menstruating, you feel gushing. I feel that a lot just as I walk right through here. Okay, so I'm right here at the entrance of the kitchen. I'm walking through the corridor into outside. That's the garage door leading outside, just before I smoke a third of a cigarette. So there are some really glaring peculiarities about the menstruating. The fact that it gets heavier, literally gets heavier. I can feel gushing of blood just before I smoke. Also, there are other connections, other patterns that I've noticed. They're in my diary. But yeah, so it's endless. Like, they're not just the fact that I'm menstruating more heavily now than I did before I was 50, but I'm menstruating twice a month. The periods are quite heavy. They last 3 to 4 days. They take on very specific peculiarities, as I was saying, And there's also been one thing I want to mention. There's been a lot of subliminal messaging about blood, coming everywhere, coming through everywhere in my house. Any form of communication you can think of, digital, non-digital, wireless, blah blah blah. All of our our fancy houses with all our fancy stuff. The subliminal messaging comes through everywhere. Movies playing on TV. There are vampire themes all the time. There's blood stains everywhere. Whenever I talk about my period, and then the last time I did a video, I think I canceled it or something. The next day there was blood stains all over the washroom, so it's almost like it's coming through my child or something. I don't believe in possession, so if anybody is going to tell me something that stupid, don't even come near me. I don't believe in possession. I do believe in technology, very advanced technology. I believe in behavioral modification, if you ever heard of that. I believe in under the skin surveillance. It's for a good cause. Under the skin surveillance, always for a good cause, can always be justified. And that's how our democracy falls apart, and people are too distracted to notice or listen to anybody. So I guess because I'm a woman and I'm a housewife, I'm not worth anything. But yeah, this is very unusual, and I would strongly suggest that you pay attention to the. I'm going to talk more about this in my videos. I would strongly suggest that you pay attention to this.